Hello, so this is an episode of Why Isn't This a Thing Yet? So first of all, we are going to ask why aren't nanobot based dental feelings possible? Like, why isn't it a thing yet? We have all the necessary tools to kind of make it work, and for actually this could work even on other tissues and etc. So why isn't this done yet? And okay, that's where the people would be like, okay, if it's so easy, just make it so. Well, it's not easy, but I do not have the resources to do it, that's 100% sure. But on the other hand, I can probably explain and probably give some ideas to those people who do have the resources, so I hope they listen. And let's start the video. So, okay, what do we need to start? Well, first of all, we do have teeth, right? Nasty, nasty teeth with cavities and so on. Usually we do have a filling. Back then there used to be amalgam fillings, but due to toxicity with certain metals, nowadays it's not amalgam but the typical 5 to 8 year one. This is the first thing that we are going to talk about, that there are indeed fillings already in place to, well, fill in a tooth. But what we still do not have yet is basically full-blown repair for teeth, like just holes, but basically just, well, repairing the whole thing. So what could we do to basically do this? Well, first of all, we are not going to get into the electrical part yet. Actually, soon we will, but hear me out. So first of all, there is a thing called TensorFlow. It has nasty things like RMS. Okay, I shouldn't have left that. RMS prop, as well as other interpreters like Adam and so on. But basically TensorFlow allows for, well, making an AI that is data driven. So you can basically make AIs from simple multipliers like multiply a number by 4 to actually making a AI that can recognize image, like is there a cat on the monitor or something right now. And a lot of people use this for image generation. But there could be so much more creativity. Like for example, why not make it so that, for example, we take tooth samples from several people, all kind of damaged a bit, then make it into a kind of loop with, with some repair bots, repair bots, and basically, well, train the repair bots that, hey, now the things are better, hey, now the things are worse, and so on. And diverse data set of many teeth that people probably would be willing to donate for research if that would help in long term. But imagine training a lot of bots to repair teeth, and basically then we could have a TensorFlow based repair system. Like, that's basically it. You just need to know what the issues are. Okay, this is very simplified because there could be a lot of chemicals and a lot of nuances going on, but we do have the resources, at least as far as I know, to actually make research in this area. So what up next? Well, let's say that someone is still not satisfied that this could work or something. So let's get into the more technical detail and let's talk about the logics then. Let me delete this quick. Okay, so how do one even go on with this? So like we do have teeth and so on. So first of all, um, how how will we make, for example, a signal to send to the nanobots, for example? Well, first of all, on a computer, let's say this is 100% plausible to write the TensorFlow program. So let's start with that. Basically, write a model that can work with a digital teeth. That's 100% plausible. So digital 3D teeth. There are a lot of things that can simulate already real life physics, like as far as I know there are things like nanome and so on. So this is 100% plausible. Did I just say teeth? Never mind. So let's write the TensorFlow model. But we have to do it, so this is not exactly that much of a positive, because we would need to write a physical interpreter too. And let's say we use 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz gold copper interpreter. What does this mean? Well, for example, imagine that you have a PC, and inside it you simulate that yes, indeed this could work for the teeth and so on. But where would you go further? Well, basically you just send a signal, Wi-Fi signal, and basically we set up a gold and copper layering, but in such a way that basically it would act like a kind of signal lock. Um, let's see. Okay, okay, okay. Maybe my drawing skills could use some work. But basically, imagine that the hertzes would swap in such a way that this whole thing would only come together like basically send the whole signal through, and let's say they are connected to some electricity source, etc. activation signal. Um, but whenever the right set is sent, such as let's say for example this encoding or something, whatever. Okay, that's not even 8 numbers. But the idea is that whenever these are sent, basically they activate the nanobots. So yeah, I mean, if you think about it, um, technically how this would work is basically a Wi-Fi signal is just micro voltages sent throughout the system, and you just have to make a copper gold alignment that with a bit of error proneness, so like multiple connection possibilities, but basically making an alloy that only ever really activates slash connects at the end. So like we could even put it like this, like the little signal here, and the whole thing would really just fall into place if the right signal is received. Then these two would connect and basically make the nanobot act. through electricity. Okay, I may have used a little bit. Okay, never mind. Maybe this would be more accurate like this. Um, yeah, we need a separate layer for that. Mm. And then we imagine that this whole thing would activate the rest of the nanobot. So yeah, this is the activation signal. So what did we achieve so far? Well, digitally we made a program that, for example, separately both a tooth model, 3D modeling, and so basically, um, again, sorry, sorry. So basically, we have to get some tooth models, digitalize them with something like light scanning, so like a combination of X-ray and Jesus, that looks bad. So basically an X-ray plus other lights, because lights can actually, depending on material, go through. Then interpret it with actually that could be not even nano-based technology, but basically we just scanning a tooth to be digital. That's it. We scanning a tooth to be digital. Then from the digital we basically from the digital part we basically make a model for it, so that a specific nanobot is also there written a tensor model for. Then from that we basically make a signal interpreter gold copper variation that should still work inside here. So I'm just gonna this time like this, that's it. And the two should only connect when the logic is right, so the right binary data is sent. Like let's say if data is not, let's say 0, let's say this is the interpretation you would need, but a lot longer, so like an actual encryption, just not to make the nanobots messed with through separate attack vectors, etc. But basically digital interpretation. mm, yeah. mm, where was I? Oh yeah. Then connect this part to a nanobot. Who then trained on the model already, just molecularly structured in a way that it's basically TensorFlow but organic chemistry, then do their thing, basically. And why exactly organic chemistry? Okay, now that's the neat part. It's something that I only don't know because I went to chemical engineering and basically Yeah, it didn't go well for me, but okay, that's how far we can go. Anyway, I just do this, and basically next up, the thing why we would use organic chemistry is because it's the most versatile. Like for example, I could write up this thing here, and it could go endlessly like this until the end. Like for example, why does this matter? Why does this matter? It matters because let's say that we have, for example, methane. Then we do have not just methane, but we could actually have ethane. And as you can see, all we gotta do really is just basically make this chain endless of a possibility, kinda. And so on, right? But the interesting part about this is since it can go infinitely, we can infinitely just, well, replace parts of it. So like we could just do this, and let's say we add chlorine there. And as you can see, I don't know if this is actually okay. Sorry guys, but I need to remind myself because it was 5 or so years ago that I last studied this, but there are some chemical rules that can and cannot work, so I may simply show something stupid here, so keep that in mind. But basically, the idea is that we could just go on and on and on. And so on. But right now, this wool layering could actually act as, as, you guessed it, a signal. Like 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. And suddenly we have a organic decryptor for our message that we sent earlier using the copper gold combination. Now imagine that, okay, never mind, I'm just gonna go with this. And okay, so next up we basically go and um, where were we? Oh, right there. So now I'm gonna go a bit lower on the scale because now I need some precision. But basically what we could do is kind of what happens at DNA, mRNAs and so on, whatever messenger and so on stuff. Back then there was some DNA lessons about it, Jesus, that was long ago. But basically we could go and with the signal interpretation basically do the following, and let's say we actually make this to be a kind of chain. So like this starts to more and more look like hexane, yeah I know. But basically now I'm just gonna go and let's say that this part is actually sticking out. So like the rest is here is just let's say R. So like this is like a chain, and basically from the other side is when the parts come, and let's say this is the C, L, this is H, this is H, 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 like hydrogen. And basically imagine that, okay, I cannot really, maybe this then, I don't know. So anyway, imagine that for example you like a chainsaw or something like mechanic, you basically rip off chlorines, etc. from the other part, and basically use that to be the encoder for this whole machinery here. So now you can have a kind of rotating logic of chemistry too, that can look like this, for example. And again, I haven't studied chemistry for a while, so someone may call me stupid, someone may call me out on something, but remember, these are the ideas, and this is the question: why isn't this a thing? It's not that this is how to do it. It's the why isn't this a thing, or something similar. And maybe it could set some paths on what to imagine. But anyway, let's say that we have now this encoder in place, etc. Now we can use digital logic to pass on the logic from tensor. From this point on, it's just basically, well, whatever you put on the end of the molecule. So like, basically after this one, you just have to make sure that whatever is on the end of the nanobot, because that was kinda it, is basically the needed material. And imagine having not just one, but several of these guys carrying all different materials. For example, blood for clotting blood, something else, filling material, and something like a disinfectant or something, and so on. So like, imagine it like this. All on the same principle of logic gating, but carrying different materials to the locations. Okay, what did I miss? Could there be anything I have missed? Mm, what else could I have missed? Well, I mean, I talked about pretty much everything else. The rest is just logic. Hmm. I feel like I left at something crucial, but I can't recall it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I will also have some other whys in this thing questions, but thank you for watching and take care, guys. Um, and subscribe if you feel like it. If you want to have whys in this thing questions more. I do have some ideas, and usually they get lost, so this was just one of the ones that I was like, okay, I'm just gonna ask it, maybe someone got inspiration from. So anyway, take care, guys, and hello.